Crank up the volume and get ready for real-world bird hunting by listening to the Wingmen podcast by Eastmans. Now your host, Todd Helms.
This episode of the Wingmen podcast is brought to you by Leupold Optics. You know, I've been running Leupold Optics for a long time on the big game side of things, and I love the performance and the quality of that brand. But when Leupold brought performance eyewear into the mix a couple of years ago, I thought I'd seen it all, but I was wrong. That performance eyewear from Leupold keeps my eyes protected. It helps me with my target acquisition with a crisp, clear sight picture. And guys, I got to be honest with you, I'm stoked to be partnered with a company like Leupold. So for all your optics needs, give Leupold a look. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Wingmen podcast. And my guest this afternoon is the one and only Adam Weatherby. Adam, thank you for coming on. Thank you for letting us do this. We're actually in Adam's home right now. We've been over here for a media event. We did a film festival. You guys did a film festival last night. We've done a factory tour. And the coolest part of the whole deal was today. We shot a bunch of pheasants this morning with the Weatherby shotguns, the whole lineup. And then we shot a bunch of rifles too. But I'd like to learn more from you about the Weatherby shotgun story, because you guys have always had shotguns, and we shot some phenomenal ones today. I was super impressed, especially with that Orion over and under in matte, the 20 gauge. I loved it.
Now, didn't I shoot you out though yesterday a little bit when we were shooting clays? Too, Todd? Or are we not allowed to talk about that?
No. See. What? Unless you know Adam really, really well, you don't realize just how competitive he is to the point where he'll go stand on the far end of the range and wait till everybody's done in a round of elimination, and then he starts eliminating people. You know,
that's what you do when you invite people over. It's polite.
You embarrass them.
No, we've had a lot of fun shooting, and yeah, we shot clays, we shot some shotguns, we shot out to 1,000-yard steel today, and then did a little bit of competition rifle shooting today too, which was fun. But
that's a ton of fun, and that was the first time that I'd done the whole ladder thing. Yeah, the whole NRL ladder thing.
It was tough. You did well. You did very
thank
well.
I appreciate that. I got lucky. Yeah. Great guns for sure, and the guns we were shooting definitely make it easier. But the pheasant hunt this morning, we put it together and got a whole bunch of guys out here and just had a really good time shooting all the Weatherby shotguns. It
was fun. Yeah, our lineup's pretty big right now. Like you said, we've been making shotguns since the 60s. Okay. And, it's funny. We're known as our high-speed ammo, and we're known for rifles, but we make and sell a lot of shotguns. Yeah. And I think people don't always realize that. And so we have them kind of from more your entry-level price point all the way to a little bit more upper-end stuff too. Right. And so kind of a smattering things like you've seen this weekend.
Yeah, you cover every price point, and it's not just like, oh, yeah, Weatherby's got a shotgun. No, they're nice shotguns. I mean, every single one of them in its price point is a very high-quality, high-performance firearm. I shot the new SORIX yesterday, as you so handily pointed out that you eliminated me from competition. But the SORIX that's your waterfowl shotgun,
right?
It's kind of a do-all tank, though. Really,
it is. It's a waterfowl platform, but you're totally right. You go bust clays with it. You can do whatever. From the Cerakote on it and the paint job and some of the, features that we put on it with the bigger buttons and levers, if you would, and
those oversized
competition cuts.
Key.
And
they're clutch.
Yeah,
so
which helps really when you're hunting anything, but. Obviously, and available up to 3.5-inch chambers. So, I mean, it's built for a waterfowler, but, built in Italy, finally assembled and stocks painted and everything in Sheridan. So it's cool for Wyoming listeners. Where rifles are largely built, obviously here. Our shotguns come from overseas, and the source comes from Italy, and yet we do the finish work here too, which is unique. So unique paint job and final assembly and stuff like that.
And we got to see that yesterday. I mean, it's literally a couple of folks sitting there with a sponge.
Yeah.
Sponge painting these stocks.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I guess I just kind of assumed that they came that way, but no, it's somebody literally hand painting those stocks. And you got the switch system that's involved with that gun that is, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, you need distinguishing features and things that just make it stand out, and that's what we did with it. Being able to take the bolt handle off the left side and put it on the left and having that cut there is just a difference that we were able to put in. And we always get a lot of left-handed questions. We make left-handed Mark 5s in our rifle line. And so with the reversible safety as well as it going on the left, about the only thing you're left with as a lefty at that point is the shells poking out the right side.
Yeah.
So
I think you talked about everything but a left-handed compliment in that string right there.
Right. Yeah. So totally different shotgun.
They're slick too because so Phil Borgelli is here from Field and Stream and Ducks Unlimited, and he and I were visiting today at lunch, and we were talking about because they rode with us. He and Ron Spolmer rode with us to lunch,
right?
And we were visiting about it, and he asked me what I thought of that switch system, and I said, "Well, I'm not a lefty, but I can see where it would be beneficial."
Yeah.
Because the lefty guys, Dan Picard shoots a shotgun left-handed, shoots a bow and a rifle right-handed, but he shoots a shotgun left-handed, and he always complains about the right-handed actions and the right-handed safeties. And on the switch system, it's completely swappable.
Right.
You pull the handle out on the right side, put the charging handle in on the left side, it'll run the action.
Yep.
You can swap the safety as well.
Yeah.
Very quickly, too.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially, the bolt handle takes 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Safety's a couple minutes. But
when we were right before you eliminated me yesterday, I grabbed the SORIX, and somebody had swapped it, and the charging handle was on the left-hand side, and I just literally pulled it out.
Yeah. Stuck it in. Yeah.
No fail.
Yeah.
And it just worked the entire
time. And we wanted to make sure, I think, one of the things is, is that bolt handle going to come out too easy? Is there going to be debris and things that get in that left-handed slot that's now there? And I think I was sharing with you, this week that we tested the thing in like 6-7 states, up from Kodiak Ducks down to swampy Arkansas and everywhere in between, and really tested it, up here in Bighorn River, a lot of different areas, and we never saw that as a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't. We kind of torture tested all those shotguns yesterday, to be real honest with you.
Yeah.
That's a lot. It was a lot of banging in a very short amount of time in heat, 90-degree heat.
Right.
And those barrels were sizzling. I mean, if your skin touched a barrel, you were going to get burned for sure.
Yeah.
And that's hard on a gun.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a failure of any of the platforms that I saw.
Yeah. No, I don't think so either. Yeah.
That's a testament to the quality that you guys source.
Sure.
Because as you said, you're not building that gun here in house in Sheridan.
Yeah.
But you're going out to Italy to find the best gun you can find to import.
And what we're doing too is, we always say with our shotgun, our theme is endurance tested, field proven.
Right.
And so when we're going to come out with a shotgun, it's usually on average around a 2-year process. Which, as a businessman, you don't want to do that. You're like, hey, we can get out there, we can leverage sales. We got an 80-year-old brand history. We have, expensive multi-$1,000 custom rifles that people want. I can't just put my name on a piece of junk shotgun that's not going to be reliable. And so we will sometimes, even with the SORIX shotguns, when we're testing them, we also say from cycling. The hardest thing on a semi-auto is cycling from super light to super heavy. And you can err on one side, and so we would test them, and we'd get in a new batch, and we'd come out here to the ranch, we'd shoot thousands of rounds, and we'd go back, make some tweaks, talk to our Italian partners, and you're doing that back and forth on a lot of different things. Sometimes it's a redesign, sometimes it's just spring tension rates and all those kind of things, but regardless, at the end of the day, we feel we need, I don't know, we have a reputation, and so, I don't know, it takes us a long time when we do it, but we want to do it right. So that SORIX shotgun was, a long time in the making of making sure all those things, are right, and things you don't expect that's going to happen or whatever. And, it's just little things, beads falling off or just handles flying off. There's just a million things that can happen. If it can't happen, it will happen. We'd rather test that ourselves than our customers find that out. And so that's a little bit of the process we do as we go into it, and really put a lot of time and energy into it.
Well, I think you nailed it, especially with that SORIX. We were talking, Brandon Mason and I, who do the bulk of the Wingmen gun reviews, we're talking about, we have a review to do on the SORIX.
Yeah.
And we're kind of trying to time it at the right time when guys are, headed into the waterfowl season and looking for a new shotgun. So when it comes out, guys look at it and go, I want to go buy that. And they go to, you were talking about shields you can go buy one of these SORIX shotguns at Shields. That's phenomenal. So we're trying to get that squared away. But one of the things that I was impressed with on this is we were shooting all light target loads yesterday out of that gun.
Yeah.
And it's a do-all, but it's a dedicated waterfowl platform, as you said.
Right.
Designed to shoot 3-inch shells, heavy 2 3/4, 3 1/2s.
Right.
And it did not hiccup with light ounce and an eighth field loads, target loads. Did not hiccup.
Yep.
That's impressive because a lot of inertia guns struggle with light loads like that.
And the 20s can be more finicky.
Sure.
And to be honest, it took us longer on the 20 than it did the 12 to get everything just right. Because it's just less recoil, it's less inertia, so those lighter loads are even lighter. But yet we don't want it to get beat up, so it's get to those heavies. So we think with that 20, we found a really sweet spot. But that's typically 20s are a little bit harder,
right?
Because you just got a little bit less recoil with an inertia gun.
Absolutely, you don't have as much oomph to work with. 100%.
Correct. And obviously, people that we had somewhat experienced shooters too, and so that helps. Inexperienced shooters that aren't shouldering it correctly, you can experience things with those light loads, especially when you're not shouldering it properly.
Right. Correct. Hey guys, this episode of the Wingmen podcast is brought to you by High Mountain Seasonings. The folks down at High Mountain Seasonings in Riverton, Wyoming have had my business since before I started working at Eastmans and way before Wingmen was even an idea in my head. I've been making homemade jerky and sausage and you name it, snack and sticks with their kits for a really, really long time. Having the pleasure couple years ago to go down and take a factory tour and film that and do a duck hunt with one of the guys from the company, Brian Tucker, was a pleasure. They have such a cool operation down there in Riverton, Wyoming, and to think that their product from little old Riverton spreads out all over the country and into Canada is mind-blowing. I know they do business internationally as well, but it's incredible to me. I can go in so many different places, from the local grocery store to any of the big box sporting goods stores, and find that product. I can go in, I can grab a box, I can take it home, and I can, within 48 hours or 72 hours, I can have some of the best goose jerky known to man. I can put that on a plate, and you wouldn't know it's goose. I mean, a lot of guys be like, wow, this is amazing venison jerky. And it's like, hey, thanks. Yeah, you're eating goose. Like, what? This is goose? Thank you, High Mountain Seasonings. It's not just jerky kits, though, that those guys do. They have a whole ton of products. So I would recommend that you go over to highmountainjerky.com and check out the full assortment of products that they've got down there in Riverton, Wyoming. So that we talked about the paint scheme on them. It's hand done, hand painted.
Sorry, grab my water.
You're good.
Yeah,
you're good.
Yeah. I've been traveling this summer, did so many things. I'm losing my voice. So in case people are like, "What's wrong with Adam?"
I think you've been doing well because you've been talking nonstop
I know,
for the last
right?
3 days.
Yeah, factory tours.
Oh man, yeah, no kidding. And a tight timeline. We've been. Yeah. We're like, how much time do we have to record a podcast?
Right.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, exactly.
Is there a plan, a thought that because you're doing not custom, but hand-done paint jobs in-house, is there a plan or a thought that maybe you could do that custom for customers?
Yeah, I mean, we do, obviously, in the rifle line. So, it's certainly, it's been talked about. Yeah. We just launched the SORIX here fairly recently, earlier this year. So we're allowing for it to really take off, kind of see what people want. We did, we have 3 of our kind of custom paint jobs, if you would, that you saw. We also just introduced, the original bottom lens as well, or are introducing. Yeah. I think we're right now introducing it.
I don't think this podcast will probably
I think we're fine.
Until
it's
September or
I don't
October.
care. Okay, well, no, we're fine. No, it's fine. So, so we will have the dip stuff as well.
Yes.
So,
which we saw that process.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen a dipping process in person. I've seen videos of it, but I'd never seen it in person.
What'd you think?
So cool.
Isn't it amazing?
How do you do that? It's like you lay this plastic film on there.
Yeah.
They spray it with stuff, and the gal standing there poking the air bubbles out of it. And then how much time we got? 1 second. There goes the bar across, and then it liquefies.
Yeah.
And then she takes a stock and
dips it in,
swirls it around, hangs it on the dryer, and away it goes, and it comes out as a finished camouflage product.
It's pretty cool, huh? If you haven't seen the process, and it's hard. I mean, it's difficult, and you can get air bubbles. Your wrap can be bad. I mean, there's, early on in our process years ago, there's a lot of blends.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, a lot of stocks that don't make it. And again, people expect a lot of a Weatherby, so our fit and finish, even our dip jobs, it's like, hey, we want it to be top notch.
Yeah.
And so it's a hand done process, and so it's what we're doing on the bottom lens as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any chance we could get one in Cryptech Flyaway Dead Zone?
No, I'm sure we can probably figure it out. Yeah. That looked pretty cool. And what we're doing too on these is instead of doing an all dipped gun like we've done in other lines, we are doing the Cerakoted barreled action.
I like that better.
And just getting that two-tone rather than all dipped, I don't know why, it just looks classier to me.
I think it looks classier, and I think the Cerakote wears better than that hard dip finish.
I agree.
When the Cerakote rubs or scratches, it has a tendency to look kind of like it's got a patina to it.
Yeah.
When you start scratching off hydro dip, I think it just looks like trash.
Yeah, I agree. And so that way you get the dip on the stock, but you get your metal work in the Cerakote. I think it's looking sharp. And then you can pick. We always have fun kind of picking the Cerakote color to really go with that pattern and stuff too, which is kind of fun. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I shot that thing. I'm not bragging, but I felt like I shot that thing extremely well.
You did all right, Todd. You did all right.
I got eliminated by Adam Weatherby, but I did okay.
You did great.
No, and what I mean by that is I just picked it up, and there was no wiggle.
It felt right.
It just was there.
Yeah.
And 90, I would go as far to say is 95% of shooting a shotgun well is fit.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't fit you and your sight picture isn't right, because it's such an instinctive thing. Bless you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
You. No, it is. It's so much about fit.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And I noticed on someone talking about fit, the 18i, the ones that come right out of the box, don't fit me particularly well.
Okay.
I'm looking kind of crosswise down the. It's weird. I got to center my head over more.
This has got a stepped rib too, where the 18i doesn't.
Yes.
And so that probably feels a little different for you as well.
And better because I have a fat face. And so I can't have to squeeze my fat face down on that gun.
Right.
But I noticed. I looked at this particularly this morning when I was looking at the 18Is. There looks to me like there's shims in that stock.
So we have shims available for both.
Okay.
Yeah. So
fit is customizable.
Yeah. Correct. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yep.
Because I love, especially that 18i Limited. And if you guys haven't, go on the Weatherby website. Not right now. Finish listening to the podcast if you're driving. If you're not driving and you got a laptop in front of you, go pull it up. Just don't navigate away from this. But go to the website and look, and that 18i Limited.
It's pretty gun, huh?
You made a comment this morning. You're like, if you're going to hunt birds, you hunt with a pretty gun.
Uh-huh.
And it's said in jest, but it's true.
Yeah.
There's something about upland bird hunting in particular where it's like,
just hunting pheasants this morning.
Having a sexy gun is nice.
It is.
It is. Whether it's a semi or an over and under or a double barrel. But that 18i, both of the 18Is we had this morning, you had that Limited. That is a gorgeous shotgun.
It is. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cut. We were over there. Brendan and I were over there a couple years ago and went to the master engraver over there where they're actually engraved in Italy and, sat down and picking out kind of the patterns for it and, the engraving and everything. And it was a fun kind of real iterative process between us and them to come up with it at the end. And we hadn't had a really nice engraved shotgun in a long time. We have, but it's been a lot of years. And so we've never had it on a semi-auto.
Right.
We have before, I would say never, but rarely. You have on over and unders in the past. Mm-hmm. But it was, we love, and we picked a real high grade, high wood grade on this too. It's exhibition grade. So, because if you're going to have all that metalwork, you have to have the wood grade, especially with the Weatherby. People just expect it. And so we just went real high end on that thing. So.
Yeah. I mean, hand engraving, gold inlays.
Yeah.
It's just, and a lot of people, and I heard it get passed around this morning. Man, I couldn't hunt with one of those. I'm too hard on my guns. I'd beat it up. Well, that's kind of what it's for.
But it also depends. I mean, look, a lot of guys have multiple shotguns. You can use that for your more gentleman pheasant hunts.
Absolutely.
Maybe not a, 7 miles, chucker hunting or hunting,
Right.
Mountain grouse or something like that.
Right.
Maybe leave it at home. But, you can kind of pick and choose. Same thing with woodstock rifles. Like, I probably hunt 80, 90% of the time, with carbon fiber stock.
Right.
But occasionally, or you go to Africa, you have more of a truck hunt type of thing. Let's bring out a wood gun for this.
There's certain things I think about, if I was ever to make the trip back to Michigan to whitetail hunt, do deer camp.
Sure.
I'd take a classic
If you're going to be in a
woodstocked
stand and
rifle.
stuff, yeah.
I'd take a classic woodstocked rifle and hunting upland birds
Right.
with something pretty.
Yeah.
Is, to me, it just fits. And I think that's awesome.
Agreed. Yeah.
To the double gun line, though,
Yeah.
Brandon Mason is, like I said, we're sitting here. Mrs. Weatherby's literally cooking a supper, which is phenomenal.
I think we're having
so cool.
caribou, moose, and elk tonight.
Oh,
so,
rough.
yeah.
Rough.
It's going to be rough.
Yeah.
But
to pry me away from the table is what you're going to have to do. But Brandon shot right from the get-go. Brandon fell in love with that Orion side-by-side that you guys released last year.
Right, but we just announced a 28 gauge,
Right.
which Brandon was on fire with this morning. He did
was
very well
wrecking
with
birds
it.
with that gun.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yep. And the 410, I have to say, I shot that a little bit yesterday. That is so much fun. Guys, if you've never shot a 410 repeater, especially a side-by-side, they are a kick in the pants.
Yeah.
They're so much fun.
The smaller bore stuff, it's just fun, and if it's an excuse to get another gun.
Yeah,
we all
absolutely.
have 12s and 20s, and so, be able to do the 28 and the 410 things, just it's fun, it's light, it swings well, and, like I said, it's hard, even with pheasant, you'd think, they're big birds, whatever, but, Brandon was doing great this morning with that 28 gauge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And wild birds would probably be, 410 might be a touch light for, wild birds unless you're, Tom Knapp, who's obviously nobody's going to be Tom Knapp anymore, but, the price point on that double barrel as well, because when you start talking double barrels, guys immediately start seeing price tags.
Sure.
But it's not exorbitant by any means.
Yeah.
I think it's much more affordable price point than a lot of the semi-autos that are out there.
Yeah. That's what we tried to do, and, we just have a variety of customers, and I think, our name historically, we're synonymous with upper end, high quality,
Right.
which carries with it a price tag. But even in our rifle and shotgun lines, we have a variety across the board, and so, where that 18i Limited with all the gold and high grade walnuts, a $3,000 rifle,
Right.
You're talking more like $1,000 shotgun. Pardon me, rifle.
Yeah.
$3,000 shotgun. That side by side's more like $1,000,
Right.
and so so we try to have a variety of everything. We really try to do on our side by side too is where on our over and under, we have ejectors and barrel selectors and kind of all the features. This side by side, we double trigger, no ejectors. Really tried to go just classic, very simple, less to break, less to worry about, less to gunk up.
It's a workhorse.
You just have, if you haven't shot double triggers a lot, first few times out, you go boom, boom, and you realize,
Right.
oh, shoot, I got to get back to the other trigger. But it's kind of fun, too, so we kind of went with a little bit old school things like that for it to just work simple.
Which I like. I like simplicity. There's an old Gordon McQuarrie story talking about going out in horrendous weather and shooting bluebills in northern Wisconsin, and they were hunting out of this just horrible conditions, horrible weather, and their guns wouldn't work. And the old man had told him, bring your double barrel. Don't that pump gun or whatever it was at the time.
Right.
Because of that reliability.
Right. Yep.
They
100%.
they just go bang all the time.
Yeah.
And I shot the Orion over and under, but the previous iteration to what I shot this morning is high gloss.
Yeah.
Super glary, right? And a lot of guys, I'm starting to see more and more over and unders in duck blinds and in goose blinds.
Yeah.
Especially sub-gauge stuff, 20 gauges, 28s. And having that high gloss gun, does it flare birds? Maybe. I don't know. If your guide's good, I don't think it does. But that matte is really attractive for people. And I really like the way that gun looks.
Good. You shot that this morning, right?
I did.
Good.
I did.
Yeah.
and I was very pleased with that
Good.
gun. I thought
Good.
it shot incredibly well.
Good.
Very, very light in the hand.
Sure.
Pointed very nicely, but swung well at the same time. I've always thought that, kind of an old saying, and I don't know who said it first, but if a gun is easy to swing, it's easy to stop.
Yeah.
You know, if it's quick to swing,
Yeah.
it's quick to stop at the same time.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case with that gun. It's quick, but it's smooth and fluid too.
Yeah.
So I loved it.
Good.
I loved it.
Good.
Can people are listening to this?
Yeah.
Can they go to Shields and find those as well?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we got most of these available at most retailers, Shields, I think Sportsman's Warehouse, and then a whole lot of just good independent dealers that we do, kind of everywhere. I mean, here in town we got a Sportsman's Warehouse and our local Rocky Mountain Discount here in Wyoming where, all those things can, a lot of those guys are stocking. You're probably not going to go that 18i Limited $3,000 gun. It's going to be hard to find on the shelf at your local dealer. But our side-by-sides and our Orion side-by-sides and Orion over and unders are pretty readily available now. So
that's awesome.
And we're doing good. During kind of the pandemic and everybody's out of stock, we're out of stock, but we're doing pretty well too. So if not, they can get it from us.
Cool.
So yeah.
They can get online and look you up, give you a phone call, and get a gun.
Yep. But whether from us even direct, even online, or here's our bird dog from this morning. Hey Wrangler.
Hi buddy. Hi Wrangler.
He pointed well today, didn't he?
He pointed awesome. I love the way he hunts.
Yeah.
Brittany guys, you guys are Brittany people, which I like because I like Brittany's.
Sure.
I like bird dogs in general, but I have a soft spot for Brittany's. And it was funny. I was walking along with your wife this morning because this is her dog.
Right. Correct.
And there's no doubt about it. The Wrangler's her dog.
Yes. Right. Yes. We're looking in the kitchen. She's cooking dinner.
She's giving us the side eye in there.
Uh-huh.
Oh, but he's impressive. She told me he's 9 years old.
Yeah.
And he just flies around out there. Yeah. But he's smooth. Yeah. At like 9, he's like that classic car that just and he doesn't miss a beat.
He doesn't waste a lot of energy. He just kind of goes along. And but did he point more birds than anybody else today?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So
he did.
He points well. So he does.
Yeah.
He does a great job.
It was like you said something interesting, and we're transitioning from shotguns to bird dogs, which is just fine.
Yeah. Well, he walked right up and wanted a pet. So what are you supposed to do?
No, I love it. I love it. I'd have dogs everywhere if it was up to me. But you said something about how stalwart he is. There was at one point we kind of had worked this cover into a corner, and we definitely had some birds moving ahead of us, and they got pinched.
Sure.
And which is classic pheasant strategy. You push them into something, you can pinch them and hold them, right? And there's a lot going on. There's birds getting up, birds dying, and there's dogs running around. And he was on point right in front of you and I pretty much the entire time.
Yeah.
And didn't break point.
No.
And everybody started to move, and you said, Wrangler's got another bird, guys. Like, he doesn't false point.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, when he's on point, there's a bird there. And
like
somebody
2 feet
stepped
from us.
in there.
Yes.
Yeah, somebody stepped in and flushed this big rooster, and it was like he had it pinned.
Yeah.
So, you guys, what did you do with him?
She had him.
Training-wise. Let me rephrase.
What did
Brenda do with him?
She obedience trained him. Okay. And like she did me and the kids. And so it's worked out well.
How's the house training?
All the way around. It's pretty good.
Not with Wrangler. I mean,
no. I know I'm potty trained.
You're getting there.
Yeah, and so
I noticed he has an open patio, so you could just walk outside. And
right. So she did the obedience training kind of that first year, and so we got him. He's born summer. We got him that early fall.
Yeah.
And then that whole year till the next summer, she just did the obedience training and collar and started to put him on everything, and then that next summer. We did take him to a guy. And of course, that was before we moved to Wyoming.
Yep.
This was 9 years ago.
California.
Took him to an old-timer and for bird training, and he went out there for several weeks that first summer. And really, between her obedience training that first year and then him being out there for several weeks, we took him back. There was another summer. We took him in for like a refresher we went on vacation. It was 7-10 days or something. Mm-hmm. Just dropped him off real quickly. And did that for a refresher. But other than that, we've gone gaps. And, today was the first time he's been out this year. It's obviously early season.
Yeah, it's August 1st.
Correct. And so we, took him out with the bird farm thing. You can do that. And so it's first time he's out. And he just his nose, his instincts. The guy did a phenomenal job.
I was very impressed.
The demeanor of Brittany's and the demeanor of him is such. They just so much want to please. We've had short hairs, and they can be so high-wired in energy, and they're great, and they're phenomenal, and they have their own thing, but he's just his disposition is he's just a little calmer, and that's the thing. You can see him even when he was 3 or 4. He could be laying down here right next to us in the podcast. Well, short hair, be running circles around us.
Yeah.
And he could melt when he gets to birds. He turns on and he turns off, and I like that about a bird dog, where sometimes you're like, hey, bro, chill out. And so
bird dogs can be wired hot.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
I said one time my parents my dad has had love affairs with German short hairs forever.
Yeah.
And he put his old dog down last winter.
Oh, okay.
And it was tough on him.
Yeah.
But it was time at the same time. But I've always said, man, short hairs, Vizslas, it seems especially the German breeds, they're like electricity with skin.
Yes.
I mean, it's like lightning in a bottle with those dogs.
Yeah.
And if you're mentally prepared and situationally able, they're great dogs.
Yeah.
They're great dogs, but they're not the perfect pet or house dog.
No.
They need to run.
And
they
frankly,
90%
of the time, I'd rather have a better pet because I'm not hunting all year long.
Yes.
Birds,
Yes.
And so, I'm hunting all year long, just not birds.
Dog definitely gets less work.
Yep.
As the year, all year round.
Correct.
They've got to be able to do double duty for sure.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm a lab guy, always have been, and my dogs are that way.
Yeah.
My 2 labs are in the house. They're out They're out in the yard all day long, and then they come in. And they just off switch and roll around the floor with the kids and snuggle with the wife and I love it.
Yeah.
So I love the fact he just came up and like, hey, give me a pet, I'm gonna go lay down.
Yeah. Well, I think we just got to the end of the shotgun line anyways. I think you were just
it was perfect transition.
Was
I think
great.
he knew. He's like, yep, they're talking about the 18i, they're gonna wrap it up with the Orion, I'm gonna go over and get petted and go lay down. No, it's perfect. And so just back to the shotguns real quickly. You guys are, like you said at the beginning, when you hear the name Weatherby, everybody immediately thinks rifle cartridges, high-performance rifles.
Right.
But what I'm sitting here telling everybody is, and the reason I wanted to sit down with you is I've been impressed for several years now with your shotgun line. And especially the new SORIX. I mean, the over and unders, the Orion line is phenomenal. The 18i is great. But that SORIX, I feel like you guys hit that out of the park.
Good.
This episode's brought to you by Federal Premium Ammunition. I've been shooting Federal for a lot of years, guys, and I can't say enough good things about them. Everything from the TSS Black Cloud loads to the Blue Box Steel, and now the heavy bismuth loads that they have, and of course the traditional tried and true Black Cloud FS steel. They got a load for everything. Last year I had a chance to put some of the new stuff through the paces, and I cannot speak highly enough about it. It swats birds out of the sky, gives me awesome patterns, and with the new heavy bismuth, I can use some of my old shotguns in the field as well and not have to sacrifice performance. So guys, when you reach for shells this year, reach for Federal Premium.
It's different. Not only does it have some differences like the switch system, like you mentioned, painted over here, the oversized, buttons and things, but it also, for an Italian-built shotgun, it's kind of finished here with a lot of those unique features. We're priced below a lot of our competition in that space too. Yeah. And so we have some high hopes for it, to be honest with you. I think it's going to put us on the map for some people that maybe haven't seen Weatherby as a kind of top waterfowl shotgun, that they're going to, I think, take a hard look at this. Right. So I think we tried to feature it right, we tried to make it look right, and we tried to price it right.
I think you did. I think you crushed it. I really do, and I
hope
the sales bear that out for you guys.
Yeah, thanks. So far, it is it's at least met, if not exceeded, our expectations.
Right.
From a sales standpoint.
About hunts, we have a little bit of time before everybody shows up for supper.
Yeah.
I know you always have a pile of big game hunts on the docket, but what is your bird hunting schedule going to look like this fall?
I don't. It's funny. Birds mostly fill in for me.
You bet.
It really is.
I understand that 100%.
And then it's grab the dog or go do things. Now, occasionally, like last year, I ended up, we were doing Kodiak Sitka deer, and so that was one of the ones that we took the SORIX on. Is we said we want to do sea ducks. Let's get in the salt water. Let's get these things wet. Let's get nasty weather. Let's get rain. And that was my first sea duck hunt.
Oh, really?
And so to go up there, to go in Kodiak and, harlequins and kind of all these pretty birds that you've always seen, and to get up there and finally do that, it actually felt to me more like a big game hunt. Because it's such a trophy. You're going after mature males. You're passing on smaller ones, or you're passing on the females. And so as they're coming in, and you recover it, and you get a trophy shot. And, you're not necessarily just piling them up. You're trying to get maybe one of this species and one or two of this species.
You're collecting at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was that was pretty fun, actually. I enjoyed that. So that was last year. That was more like, okay, that's a destination.
That's planned.
Yeah, which is fun up there. But this year at this point, don't have any outside a lot of just the normal stuff in Wyoming. Don't have anything planned. So
when a lot of the big game stuff is wrapped up by November.
Right.
And we don't get birds out here until good numbers of birds until December, January, February a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I think you should grab a crew and come on over.
That'd be fun. Yeah. No, we'll
grab Ike.
Yeah.
We'll grab Brandon. We'll go out, grab a bunch of donuts and some hot coffee and pretend like we're not enjoying ourselves.
Yeah, be cool. I mean, Tyler, Luke, our guys, Kyle, they're all passionate waterfowl hunters. It's weird. I gravitate more towards upland mainly because I just like to move.
Yeah.
And so I just have always loved to move in, like, especially a good wild upland hunt or chucker, those things. That's really where I kind of come alive, because you put a lot of miles in, or even mountain grouse is fun, where you can kind of get out there and do that.
Yep.
If people had known me a while, they know it's hard for me to sit in a duck blind for too long.
Yeah.
I get a little itchy.
Get fidgety.
I do. But occasionally they'll get me out. In fact, this last year, we formed a partnership with Remy Warren, and the guys were out hunting with that, and they went out to Reno, and they went on some duck hunt and put like 7 miles in their waders and like shot like 2 birds or something. And I was like, well, I don't know about that though.
It might be a little too much.
It was kind of funny, yeah.
Oh, you guys you relocated the company from California to Sheridan, Wyoming, and where you live here, I lived here for a short period of time, and you guys have some pretty phenomenal jump shooting opportunity for ducks around here on some of the small creeks and ponds.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That fits the bill.
Totally.
Fits the bill.
No, we'll have to get out.
Yeah.
Do some hunting for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you guys are welcome on our side of the mountain anytime.
Cool.
We'd love to have you.
Cool. We occasionally get up and over the mountain, but it's paradise over on this side, so.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. The whole state of Wyoming, that's the beauty of it. But what's funny is since moving here, we've found. You got to
remember, though, Wyoming's not real.
No.
Wyoming's not real.
This podcast isn't even real.
Southern Montana.
That's right. No, it's northern Colorado.
True.
Yeah.
True. Very liberal. Very, very, yeah.
That's right.
No, it's, we're blessed. The whole state of Wyoming's pretty special.
It's a fun place to be.
For the people that are wired right, I know it fits my personality really, really well.
That's what's fun about Eastmans and Weatherby. There's not a lot of brands here. We're just a small state, very low populace. And so that's what's fun is event like this. You guys just pop over the mountain, come out here, do some shooting, get a factory tour, record a podcast, shoot some birds, do some fun stuff. It's fun to be out here. And, that's what's fun about you guys and our partnership with you. It's another family-owned operation and, Wyoming-based. And there's just not a lot of us. So it's fun to get together.
No, it is. Yeah. It is. And my offer stands. If you ever need any help for anything over here, I can bring the dog and be here in 2 hours.
Perfect.
So it's quick. But
cool.
Adam, thank you for jumping on.
Yeah,
dinner's literally hitting the table and we're being summoned. So
yep.
There's the big smile. Everybody's okay.
That's right.
But thank you for taking the time
Todd.
to sit down
Absolutely.
and having us over here.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure to come over and hang out with you guys.
Cool.
It's a good time. Film festival last night was a huge success.
Yeah. Good. Did you enjoy it?
I loved it.
What was your favorite film?
Favorite film or favorite moment?
Okay. Favorite moment.
You shooting the wolf.
Yeah.
It was raw, unadulterated emotion. Second favorite part, very similar, and Brandon and I talked about this.
Yeah.
I think my second favorite part, or maybe tied with that, was when Brenda shot her caribou on that same hunt, and it was towards the end, and she was just like
her monologue there.
But it was real.
Yeah.
It was real. It was like, I'm tired. We've been up here.
Yeah.
I'm emotionally kind of drained, physically kind of worn down.
Sure.
this is an overwhelming experience, and
Yeah.
she was just real.
Yeah.
You know, not that she's not
Yeah.
real. It was just
Sure.
you get those when you've been abraded by the elements.
Yeah.
There's a rawness and a realness that comes out of people.
Yeah.
On those hunts, and that was what we saw on
Yeah.
yours with
Yes.
the wolf, and
Yes.
on hers with the caribou.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and the Hush film was great.
Yeah.
You had the
Yes.
Hush guys there last
Sure,
night. They're
sure.
good dudes.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to see.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, you know us better probably too.
Well, and
so
part
to
of-
know somebody too, you know.
part of it is it was for me. I would you kind of put yourself in those people's positions.
Sure.
You're kind of living vicariously
Yeah.
for a few moments through
Right.
someone's, and sheep and caribou are a dream.
Yeah.
That's a dream hunt for me. And so I get to watch you guys do it.
You're sitting below a sheep and a caribou right
I know.
now.
I'm trying not to be distracted. Don't remind me. But yeah, I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
I love wing shooting,
Sure.
but I love to hunt big game as
Yeah,
well. And
yeah.
so, getting to come over and
Cool.
sit and watch you guys
Yeah.
do your thing.
Cool.
You had an auditorium almost filled to capacity at
was fun.
450 some people.
It was
I mean,
fun.
you guys crushed it. It was super cool to see.
It was fun. It shows to the support of our community, support of our employees,
Right.
support of our industry. You know, you guys came over here. We had tons of folks come down from Montana, you know, some different areas, people from South Dakota. I mean, regionally, it shows that support in that community. So it was so fun to kind of, I think, have everybody in one space. Films were a good excuse for it, but really what it did, and we had 5 conservation groups,
Yes.
you know, that we were helping support in one
Yes.
night. So it was neat. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
Had
that's
a good
awesome.
time. Had a
That's
good time.
awesome.
As much as
Well-
I hate sitting in a movie theater watching myself on film and watching myself hunt, I just can't stand it. I've shrunk down in my seat. It's weird because there's 450 there. You get 50,000 views on YouTube. That doesn't bother me because
Right.
I'm not watching it with them.
Right.
And there's something different. You know what I mean?
I don't even like watching my hunts on YouTube.
Oh,
The kids want to
heck
watch
no.
it, and my
Yeah.
wife wants to watch it.
I'm the same way. Yeah, yeah,
But I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go shovel snow
yeah.
because I'm like,
Yep.
I'm just picking myself apart
Yes.
on the dumb
Yes.
things that I say.
Here's the better part
and-
about live, though. Not one negative comment last night. Everybody loved it. Now, online at home,
Oh, man.
well, what you should have done is when you did that one thing, you should have done this one thing, and instead of doing the other thing, you should have done the other thing. And what were you thinking doing this? And, you know,
Yeah.
do you know you had a safety thing here, and you had
YouTube is so great for
So
that.
right, so it was great because everybody last night
Had a good time.
just had a good time, and
Yeah.
it's amazing when you get in real time with people
Mm-hmm.
and you're actually there. It's like we're all real people. Sometimes we get distant and we think the person on the other end, you know, isn't a real person anymore.
Right.
And you know what I
Right.
mean? It's
I like
just,
where this is going.
and so I don't know. It's refreshing to be in one place at one time with people, and to just share those memories and those experiences together, and not just, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
do.
oh, your hat was on sideways, or you weren't wearing enough blaze orange, or who knows what.
Right.
You know, and it's
Right.
it was fun.
It's
Not
the
one negative
same-
comment. You know,
That's awesome.
it's fun.
Yeah, and it's the same way when you're out doing stuff with people,
Sure.
when you're
Yeah.
interacting.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like you watch. I'll just use Ron Spomer as an example. I've watched a ton of his videos,
Sure.
and I don't negatively comment, but I'm like, I've never met Ron Spomer.
Sure.
I've seen him at stuff, you know,
Yeah.
and we've passed it, but we've never met. We've never rubbed elbows, and
yesterday.
shared a meal, and shot guns together until yesterday and today.
And
And-
do you respect that guy?
Not really.
Is that because he beat us today?
He is a shooter, dude.
Dude. Yeah.
Can shoot a shotgun, can shoot a rifle.
And he's got a few more years of practice than us too. You know,
He said,
I mean,
what he said he was 71 years old.
yeah. Hey, Wrangler. He said, here's what he said yesterday. I got started. He was talking about writing for magazines in '76. I said, well, I got started in '76 too.
Born.
So,
Yeah.
but dude, that guy.
No, he's the real deal.
As good as he is a shot, how great is he as a person? Just to talk
Exactly.
with,
And that's
right?
and that's where I'm going with this.
Yes.
Is it's easy to sit back and critique
Yes.
anybody.
Yeah.
Me, you,
Yeah.
Ron,
Yeah.
who you name it.
Totally.
It's easy to sit and throw stones, right?
Yep.
But when you go and you spend time
Yeah.
with people,
Yeah.
doing things and interacting, man, your perspective changes fast.
It does.
And
Yep.
this world's not
Yeah.
nearly as crappy of a place
Yes.
as it seems online.
Yeah. I agree.
You know what I mean?
The real world's a good place.
I told that to Brandon.
Yeah.
We were in the factory tour
Yeah.
yesterday. We're walking around, and I was like, man, every time I do an event like this, I'm just reminded of what an awesome and unique community the sporting community is.
It's true.
We're all on the same team at the end of the day.
And you realize that when you're together with them.
Exactly.
Whether we're at a trade show or a party at a trade show or we're on a hunt or a media event like this, that's when it's totally right. Not me just surfing Instagram and seeing an Eastman post and clicking like.
Right.
You know, it's like, well, that's cool, but
right.
that's not what it's about, you know.
Yeah, it's not real life.
Totally.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm glad we got to do this. But
good.
Anyway.
Well, I realized I got to go light the Camp Chef smoker. I think she's been doing all the pre-prep work, but I don't know if she's lit the smoker yet.
Uh-oh.
So we better wrap
I think we probably
this thing
take this party
up.
outside, end this podcast.
That's right.
We're going to go eat some awesome food. Dude,
Thanks,
I really
appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay.
Guys, thank you for listening to this episode of the Wingmen Podcast. And while we have you here, make sure you subscribe to the channel and give us a little bit of feedback on what you like so we can continue to bring you awesome guests like Adam Weatherby and awesome content like this discussion. Thank you again for joining us. Don't forget to check us out on all of our social media feeds as well. Until next time, guys, we'll see you in the field.